All right, you gonna help me lift?
Yeah.
We're just gonna flip it right over there. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Welcome back, and today we're going to be cutting up two different logs, both in the mulberry family. The first one we're going to be cutting up is actually this log here on the bottom left that this larger log is sitting on. Well, that was originally planned to be the first log. That's a mulberry. And the one, that large log here that we have, that my supervisor is checking out for me, is an Osage Orange. This is not the trunk of this tree. This is an upper section from the first fork. The rest of the tree hasn't been cut down yet. It's kind of in an awkward position to be able to get to. So let's take a look at our sizes here. We've got, at the upper side, inside the bark right at 13 inches. Yes, you can. And vertically, we're looking at 15 inches inside the bark. Now, this tree has a pretty good split. You can try in a minute, Arlo. This tree has a pretty good split in the pith, and at the bottom side, it has a surprising amount of rot for an Osage Orange. We've got pretty tight grain here. I'll try and get a cut estimate for the rings for how old this tree was from the base when it gets cut down, but for right now, well, I'll bring you guys around and take a look at this, but it's pretty old. So I've got a number of these branches over here that some of them will get cut up and dry stacked, probably for some splitting handles or for some hatchet and maybe some log moving bars for my PVs and yeah, log rolling hooks. So we're going to take this section off here and this section off here, and at the bottom end we are looking at 15 inches inside the bark by 16 and a half inside the bark. So not a lot of taper on this. The lower section is much larger than the upper limb here. There's a secondary limb that's quite broken. A much larger tree fell on it when the area was being cleared. Hopefully we'll be able to salvage at least this much of it. And this one is right at 5 feet 4 inches of usable wood. So this is a really heavy wood. I don't have it braced all that well yet. We're going to cut up this log.
Oh, this log?
Yep, this log.
For what?
Well, we're going to make him into hatchet handles, axe handles.
That last time you said you were going to make it into a table.
Well, that's the other log. This one we're not going to make. I don't think we're going to make this one into a table. It's really hard, really strong wood. We're cutting it green. So this section right here is going to have a lot of sap coming out of it. We're not going to take much of the bark off of this one. We're just going to cut it with the bark on it. And this is probably going to go to people who want a really heavy, hard handle for something. Not something I'm planning on for a table. Do you understand? Yes. Okay. So this wood, when we cut it, is going to start out a really light orange color, and then it's going to fade into this darker color, very much like a cedar as it oxidizes. It's a fairly, I think, pretty good looking wood. This is in my area, largely considered to be a garbage tree. I've had a lot of people tell me that this wood cannot be worked without metal working tools. You can't cut it with a chainsaw, it doesn't work. I don't know that I've ever talked to any person who said that who's ever tried. or has any real experience with modern steels. So you'll see here in a minute just how accurate that is. And then we'll do this mulberry, which I can confirm both of these woods are very, very slow drying. They take a long time for the moisture to get out of the wood. So once my supervisor finishes measuring this project using some alternative method I've never seen before, we'll get started. Today we're going to be using a different mill than what I've had in my past videos. Since I upgraded to the Hulse Forma 36-inch bar with this 395 XP clone, the bar support at the far end of the 36 inches is not sufficient for what I've been doing. I am getting, unfortunately, with the really large logs like my black walnut, about a ½ inch deviation at the far end. So this is intended to support the outside section of the chainsaw with a vertical bar that's adjustable for length across, and then I can set the depth on both sides, measuring to make sure that I stay in parallel with the log as I take slices off of it. And yeah, let's pinch this log. Yeah, pinch, pinch. And then we'll take the sections off more easily with support on both ends. So I'll lose less wood. I lost a substantial amount of that black walnut to run out deviation at the end of the saw. So we're going to open this up, put this together, and take a look at it. I got this one from Amazon on a fantastic sale. I had been hesitant to buy another saw assembly, but this one was just such a good deal that I went ahead and pulled the trigger on it, if you will. And we're going to take this out of the box, get it set up, take a look at it, see if it has any shortcomings, if we need any hardware to be replaced, and we'll see if right out of the box everything is as it's supposed to be. So we're going to start by taking this lower limb off to give us a better run for the space, and then we'll see what we can do with this log. Well, it looks like we've got dark orange. All right, I'm going to trim up that end and this end so we can get our leveling board in, and we'll get some planks made. So the sun went behind a cloud for a while. The wind picked up a bit. The temperature dropped back into the upper 40s, so I went and got a jacket. It looks like we're going to need to adjust the travel of the saw. And I don't really like how much I'm giving up with this mill, but for now, this is what I'm going to work with. So I'm really not certain what to do about this. I don't like how much I'm giving up here, but I need the brake to still work. I definitely do not like giving up this capacity here. So, I don't think these are downsides of the mill itself. I just don't love this design. Now, my primary option would be to move up to a mill, a true mill, instead of a chainsaw mill. That's just not going to happen right now. So, since I don't actually need all of this bar length for this log, we're not going to worry about it. And comparison may be the thief of joy, but overthinking it is definitely the bane of getting my projects done. So I'm going to rethink my life. All right, so that isn't going to work the way I want it to there. That definitely isn't going to work the way I want it to. So if you have this retracted all the way up to the minimum clearance, you can't tighten or loosen the saw with this tool. That could be a problem. I don't foresee a need to cut that small repetitively. That's not something that I've really done, but if I decided to do 1¼ inch boards, I might have some issues here. Now, if you're new to this and you have not used a mill like this before and you decide to set it up, you have a sprocket on almost all chainsaws that's not replaceable these days. You do not want to clamp this bar on your sprocket. Obviously, your sprocket won't turn. Then you want the clamp to be centered as much as you can in the middle of the chain, or sorry, the bar. And we'll get this tightened back down. And I'm using 2½ inch screws through this. So we're going to cut a 3-inch slab off of this, which isn't going to be much of a slab. And I realize that waste is the nature of a lot of the removal of the outside, but it always bothers me when I see a really large log, 30, 35 inches, and they just square it and throw the flitches away, knowing full well there's a huge amount of wood in there where you could take more passes. Now, I understand for production that doesn't work all that well, but for what I'm doing, I'm not going to say time is my cheapest asset because I don't have as much time as I want, but taking my time would provide a lot more board feet like it did with the black walnut that I did last. So for me, I guess I would just like to spend that time salvaging more of the most mature wood, even if it's not necessarily the most outermost wood. It's still good wood for a lot of projects. Well, I have lost my tape measure. Somebody over there sees it. Would you say something? Let me know where it is. No help, huh? That's okay. I like you guys anyway. Where, oh where? There it is. Yeah, that doesn't work very well. Those are mine. These bulkheads, 13. Okay. See, now I'm pinching on the rail. That's not a good thing. So the manual, the instructions gave no instructions for torque specs for any of these bolts. So again, common sense, not going crazy with them. Then we'll measure our bar height, saw. Number of things here I'm not liking. Not as in a design fault to the manufacturer, the things I'm going to modify, because I don't like the way they're presenting themselves in reality. One of the things I did on my other sawmill is black my bars so that I can see my measurements. Okay. So we have the mill set up. We have push handle, cutting side, facing in, long run so that if there's any wonkiness or unstable conditions with this bar, I'll have a lot of support as I encounter them. Make sure everything here is missed. I don't want to get too crazy with cranking on these brackets here, as they are aluminum. Cast aluminum, apparently. And the sun is back. Yay! Didn't pay attention. I should have paid more attention. So I have clamped my chain. Again, not paying attention. And clearly not tightening my bolts enough. My handle placement's not great. I've got it in probably the wrong spot for this log. I clearly didn't have this tight enough. Probably both these are going to get changed out to Allen head screws as opposed to these Phillips. Otherwise, not bad. So I think all together on the sale, this was like $85. So for $85, I'll probably end up putting another $10 in hardware, things I want to replace on it. That looked pretty good. I think I'm, yeah, let's take a look here. Pretty skinny. think the next thing we're going to be doing is going to be the winch modification, because the saw can clearly handle the pressure. I'm 250 pounds and I am leaning into the saw pretty darn hard. The saw's pretty sharp still. So, boy, that's some tough wood. We've got a pretty substantial sawdust pile over here. Now, one of the interesting things about Osage Orange, or Pomifera Maclura, is that this sawdust works very well as a dye for orange. And I'll probably bag some of this up. Maybe once the pile gets a little bit taller and it stays clean. And I know a few people who knit, but this is a natural dye that is apparently quite persistent, which is why I'm wearing junk at the moment, because it doesn't come back out. So yeah, it's a nice true orange color. I don't know if the camera's capturing that exactly, but yep, back to the saw. As it turns out, the last 3 videos from me cutting this log are corrupted. And the downside is I cannot uncut this log. So it's been a couple of days. I've tried everything we could think of to get those files to be in a usable format, and it's just not happening. If I can get them recovered, I will use them. So we're going to continue today cutting this Osage Orange. I've got one of the logs back there and 2 of the logs on the ground behind me. It's got beautiful grain to it, and we're going to open the rest of this up and take a look inside. I would just like to say a brief thank you to the thousands and thousands of people who watched my last video with the black walnut. I don't know whether it was black walnut or the search algorithm was just particularly generous for that video, but it had by far the most engagement with people of any of my videos. And to everyone who watched, which there was a couple of you who watched all the way through, thank you very much. I appreciate your interest, and I don't know what people are coming to see, but I'm trying to provide the best experience with these logs that I can. That having been said, today we're going to be cutting with a resharpened blade. As I'd mentioned in the corrupted videos, this required a touch-up for the blade about every pass. It is substantially harder than hickory or oak, but it's not anything particularly terrible. This is the hardest wood that grows in our area. It's about half as hard as American hornbeam, so on the Janka scale this is about a 2600 when it's green. These logs have had a fair amount of bark inclusions and quite a few bugs in small pockets inside the tree. It also had quite a bit of heart rot, which I was not really expecting. These trees grow fairly quickly, 3 to 7 feet in the first couple of years. But once they have that bulk established, we have a really, really tight grain on this tree. This tree came from a fairly wild area. It had been cleared around a long, long time ago. And there are a couple of bands where the tree got everything it wanted for a short amount of time. But these outer bands are just minuscule. So I'll give you guys a close-up of that once we get it cut. We'll throw some water on it. We'll see how it looks. And side.
You cut it all the way over here?
Cut all the way through it. Yep. All right, you gonna help me lift?
Yeah.
We're just gonna flip it right over there. Ready? 1, 2, 3. All right.
Now what?
Well, we're gonna lay it down and take a look at it. Poof. Okay, so this is the color we've been seeing out of these slabs. It's nice. Not as nice as these other two. So this was 5 days ago. You can see the color difference between these two slabs where it's been out exposed to the air. Fresh cut 5 days ago. 5 days ago, but underneath another board. So let's see what the underside of this one looks like.
I don't want the sawdust to here. I don't want the sawdust to here. I want it over there.
Okay. So it's kind of a rough cut. That saw is very, very sharp. No question about it. But this is the working roughness I'm getting, possibly from the edge of the bark. So let's put a little water on it and see how it looks. Now last time we had some really direct sunlight and this just glowed. Today it's just above freezing. That's actually really pretty. So we have very tight, fine grain here, and our, tops of cathedrals. And then very tight grain again on this side, and of course our limb section where it comes out, and then the crotch figure in through here. Oh, looks like we might actually get some sun for a minute. This wood looks like it may have some chatroyescence or basically cellular refraction of the light inside the wood, which makes it look slightly transparent in places. A little bit punky right here.
Dad, do you need some more of this over here?
What?
Get some of this over there.
Okay, well, let's get some more water and we'll put it on this slab and take a look at what that side looks like. So one of the things to keep in mind with chainsaw milling is the thickness of the kerf you're cutting with. With me wiggle wobbling all over the place with this, I'm probably closer to having a 1/2 inch kerf than a 3/8 inch kerf. So these aren't really book matched. They're close, but there's a 1/2 inch, well 3/8 to a 1/2 inch of wood in between missing. And yeah, let's throw some water. Oh, that's right in the shade. We'll move this guy over into the sun. That's better. Set you guys here for a second. Okay, let's see what it looks like in the sun today. Get some of the fluff out of where that blade has passed through the wood, so you can see the very, very fine graining here. And I've been cutting these slabs at 2 inches, mainly so that I'm not turning nearly as much of it into sawdust. A little bit punky right there. Oh, that's nice. And we'll look at it from the other side. This really is very pretty wood, even when it darkens to the deeper browns. It really is a gorgeous wood. We'll look at this again here in the sunlight. I do like that X pattern. This right here. Now, I've found very conflicting information about drying this wood. This section for me obviously is very straight grained. I don't have a lot of substantial defects in most of this.